Rights to freedom is dead. We're coming to get our check.
Black first, my brothers and my sisters. Welcome to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. I'm your host, Afro Elite. Before we get started, please make sure that you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share button, all that stuff, because we're on our way to 10K. And because of you guys, thank you guys so very much. Now, this is something that I think we all should be aware of. We all should be keeping track of the hate crimes that are rising against our people specifically. Of course, they're going to include everybody and their mama, but our people specifically have the most hate crimes, and our hate crimes are rising in this post-racial society where racism doesn't exist. We had a black president, and then we had Joe Biden, and everything is everything, and Black Lives Matter, so racism is going down. But we see actually that racism is not going down. They say things like racism today is not as bad as it was years ago during the civil rights movement, before the civil rights, but we see hate crimes are still going up. So how can racism be fading away? Racism is not something that's fading away. It's not something that's dying. So we're going to look into this study that goes in to explain how racism and hate crimes are actually rising in major cities, specifically Chicago. A Nation report has revealed that hate crimes in Chicago surged to their highest level since 1994, underscoring a concerning trend that has been observed across the nation. The report, which is set to be published in the coming weeks, highlights a distressing reality that hate crimes have reached alarming proportions in the city. In contrast to the 104 incidents of hate crimes reported in 2021, Chicago documented 192 hate crimes in 2022, marking an 84% increase. The largest increase last year was hate crimes against Jews and blacks. Now, let's be very honest. We know who, among the two, we know exactly who has the largest hate crimes. And I'm going to show you the statistics when we're done with this article. But we know among the two who's topping the charts when it comes to hate crimes. It continues to say, this information is delivered from a report by the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism at California State University, San Bernardino. The surge in hate crimes in Chicago outpaced the increase observed in the other top 10 most popular U.S. cities. New York City's hate crime report rose from 531 to 607, while Los Angeles documented 433 hate crimes in 2021 and 609 in 2022. Interestingly, only 3 of these major cities, Phoenix, San Antonio, and San Diego, reported a decline in hate crime incidents. So what they're saying is that every other city in America, with only those 3, have a decline. So every other city in America is increasing their hate crimes. All of these other cities. Now, they're talking about Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. They're having the biggest increase, but all of the other cities are having an increase in hate crimes. And we've been saying this on this channel for at least a good year now, that a lot of these hate crimes don't go reported and documented at all. A lot of what happens that should be determined to be hate crimes don't get to be hate crimes. So if you can only imagine what the real number really is. It goes on to say, the Chicago City Council has taken notice of the escalating hate crimes, particularly following a significant 71% in reports to the city's Commission on Human Relations during a specific period last year. This incident is growing concerns within the city's government about the rise in hate-related incidents. The report findings show that hate crimes against marginalized communities in Chicago have escalated significantly. And when they say marginalized, they're trying to do an all lives matter type thing with the word marginalized, but they just stated earlier that it was blacks and Jews. But if we look at the actual statistics, which we will show because we're going to be thorough with this, Most of the hate crimes, and this goes not just with Chicago, this goes with everywhere in America, most of the hate crimes are against black people. Going on, it says, this increase in hate crimes is a matter of great concern for both local authorities and the affected communities. Hate crimes not only have the devastating impact on the victims and their families, but also erode the social fabric of the city. The escalation in hate crimes in Chicago is part of a broader national trend. See, that's what I said. That's exactly what I said. The report revealed that most of the nation's major cities experienced significant increase in hate crimes in 2022, with numbers averaging a 22% rise, resulting in a record 1,889 cases in the 10 largest cities. Local law enforcement agencies, community organizations, and advocacy groups are closely monitoring this disturbing trend and working to combat hate crimes. Public awareness, education, and increased vigilance are being advocated as essential steps in addressing these issues. Now, they don't really do a lot of the numbers when it comes to comparing all the other groups. Now, remember the two groups of people that they said experienced the biggest rise in hate crimes from 2022 to 2023. Now, I'm going to give you a graph. You're going to have to take it with a grain of salt. Number one, because most black hate crimes are really unreported. Okay, it has to be so extreme. The person has to be wearing a Confederate flag t-shirt with a swastika tattoo on his back. It has to be that extreme in order for them to document it as a hate crime. We have, if you saw the video I did yesterday about the black high schooler who was attacked, they didn't document that as a hate crime. There was a black girl who was hit in the head with a bottle in Chicago. They didn't document that as a hate crime. There's a whole lot of stuff that happens to black people, even black kids, that they do not document as hate crimes. So just take that with a grain of salt, and then take with another grain of salt that all these other groups, if you step on their shoe, they're considering that a hate crime. If you say anything mean to them, they consider that a hate crime. If you don't open the door and hold it open for them, they consider that a hate crime. So you're just going to have to take all of that with a big grain of salt going into it. Another thing too, when they separate black from LGBT, there are black people who are LGBT, and there are hate crimes that are done to them because they are black. But if they find out that the person happens to be bisexual, they'll just mark that as an LGBT hate crime. So with that going into it, let's look at the chart. Now, when you look at the numbers, and then when you look at the two people they said had the biggest increase in recent time, look at blacks. This is 2021, 3,295. And then the other group is 824. And then even with the increase, because they had a 36% increase, even with the increase in 2022, it still doesn't match the numbers prior to the increase. It still doesn't match the numbers that blacks had in 2021. Okay, not even half. It's not even half what black people had in 2021. So when they say, they do this all the time to water down the black hate crime, when they say it's blacks and it's blacks and it's small hats, it's blacks and it's this, it's blacks and it's that. But when you actually look at the actual numbers, black people's hate crimes are so above the top, no other group of people compare. And a lot of that stuff that other people are, have like the LGBT and stuff like that, those are really black hate crimes. It's just a person happens to also be LGBT. Another thing you have to add, Hispanic and Latino are not races, okay? So when they add the Hispanic and Latino, some of those could be black Hispanics and Latinos. And then other races and then other racial groups and stuff like that, those could kind of be black people. Because they're being vague about what those other groups of people are. So some people might say they're Asian, Arab, or whatever the case, which could be the case. And then some people will put mixed black people in that category. So I'm just saying this to say they really spread the hate crimes out. They make a lot of different categories so they don't have to put all the numbers accurately in the black category. And I'm gonna say this: I think that the white hate crime statistics in 2021, especially, I think that that's very embellished. I don't know who in the world is doing all these hate crimes against white folks, but okay, all right. Like I said, you guys got to take this with a grain of salt, but it's important for you guys to have a visual of the actual numbers that are reported when it comes to hate crimes. Now, this is why we say we need our power tools. This is why we say that, okay? Because nobody's looking out for us. Racism is not fading away, is not going away, is not the older white folks who are just, stuck in their ways or whatever the case is, like they used to say, and they're dying out and everything's getting better and the society is becoming more diverse and everything's going to be fine soon. It's not going away, okay? So it's up for us. It's up to us, me and you, for you guys to look out for yourself, for your family, and for every other black person, and for every other black person to look out for every black person, because nobody is going to be looking out for us except us. So make sure you guys be aware of your environment. Make sure you guys keep your protection with you, keep your power tools just in case a situation might occur where you need one. Make sure you guys, if you're going to be out in an area you're unfamiliar with, you have somebody with you, so just make sure you do that just to keep yourself in a situation where you have a good chance of, getting out in case the situation gets dangerous, because nobody's looking out for you guys except black people. Nobody's looking out. All right. So it's up to us. Situations like Chicago is only getting worse, especially with these immigrants coming in, and they have a whole lot of anti-black racism in their society, in their countries. All of these other countries like Chicago, New York is having an influx of them. So Texas is having an influx, Los Angeles, all these major cities that are having an influx of anti-black immigrants. That's where the problem is coming from, not just the white people, because you can't just look out for the white people. You have to look out for every other non-black person because they all have anti-black racism in their culture. Now, with that being said, family, I want to know what you guys think about this situation. What do you think about the rise in hate crimes and what should be done about that? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Also, you should be following me on my various social media platforms, which is Afro Elite on Instagram and then the Afro Elite on Twitter. Please, please, please make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, hit that share button, comment, all that, because all of that helps the reach and the growth of the channel. We're trying to get this channel to 10K before the end of the year. We're on our way. We're steady heading to that goal. So thank you guys very much for all of what you guys are doing. You guys, if you haven't subscribed, you guys can be a part of that 10K that we're trying to reach. So thank you guys so very much. Now, with that being said, my brothers and my sisters, be one salute to every single last one of you all, and you all have a good one.